Happy Saturday. Welcome in, Bulldog Nation. It is DawgsHQ Live, and we are out here hanging out at Redstone Grill. Well, Jake Rowe, Rusty Mansell, Jeremy Johnson, and maybe even a special guest today. We'll see.
We'll have at least one special guest. My man Shane Heis from Sunheis is going to pop on. There'll be opportunity for Georgia fans to see our friends at Sunheis in person today over at the Classic Center. Shane's going to tell you all about that.
Rock and roll, man. Nice. Well, the big day is here, guys. It is Georgia versus Alabama, a showdown that everybody's had circled since, well, since it was announced. Everybody's been anticipating this one. The Tide returning to Sanford Stadium for the first time in 10 years, and it is expected to be a bit of a slobber knocker, I would say. Jake, this feels like one of those games, especially the way Vegas is selling it to us, that's going to be tight. And, I think you and I have spoken about it several times over the course of this week that this is an opportunity for Georgia to really kind of get the monkey off the back, but also for the fans to play a big role in potentially the success of this Georgia team. They're going to have the opportunity to get up there and make some noise and really create some problems for that Alabama offense.
Yeah, I've said it all week long, and, anything can happen in a game of football. So I'm not trying to sit here and say that Alabama is going to be overwhelmed with the environment, but I expect it to be the kind of environment that can lift the home team in such a way that will overwhelm the opponent. It's going to be one of those types of things. And listen, I don't know how many Georgia games I've been to. I started going to them in 1995. I went to them as a fan before I became a student. I went to them as a student. I went to them post-grad. And then obviously I've covered a ton of these games, from the press box. And, there are a few that stand out. One in particular was that 2022 Tennessee game. And there's no Eric Ainge bulletin board material for this one, but I don't think there necessarily needs to be. I think Georgia fans have been hungry. The new Georgia, the Georgia that Kirby Smart kind of ushered in, the one he's paid the highest in college football to usher in, right? This has been a different team at home. 33 straight home wins, haven't lost since the 2019 South Carolina game. Which is consequently, I was thinking about it last night when I was watching that Florida State game and the Noles go down, a little bit of transitive property, I'm sure, being played in the heads of Georgia fans today. The Noles go down to Virginia. Virginia kind of bullies them and scores a lot of points on them. But I was thinking about it, and, Georgia's won, I think, 3 or 4 straight overtime games. I think you got Rose Bowl, SEC championship game, this Tennessee game.
Georgia Tech.
Yeah, Georgia Tech. There's been a lot of, Georgia's had a lot of recent run in overtime games. I think the 2019 game was the last overtime game that Georgia lost. You had that Rose Bowl game kind of mixed in there between that and the national championship game with Alabama. Wouldn't surprise me if we saw that again today, to be honest with you. But, this environment, I think, is going to be a special one. I really do, and I'm interested to see kind of how it plays out. It kind of sucks, no open air press box to kind of soak it all up. But my man Palmer Thomas is standing right here in front of me, and we've texted about it a few times, since that game. Just kind of how I remember kind of looking over at him, and being like, I think Tennessee's in trouble here, just based on how the teams ran out, and today can be that kind of thing. Now, can you take care of the football? Can you win those micro matchups that cause games, cause wins and losses? That's going to be a big key to this football game. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I think that really, and I've said that to people all week, that to me, Georgia against Tennessee, if you're able to clean up, I don't know, a handful of plays, really. If you go back and if you're able to take care of that. Now, look, that's just the nature of football. A handful of plays is what decides most games, ultimately.
Tennessee's thinking the same thing.
Exactly.
Tennessee's probably thinking the same thing.
Yeah, but if you're able to kind of work on those mistakes that you made the week before last against Tennessee, and clean up some of those busts in the secondary. You're able to take care of the ball. You're able to grind this thing out. And that's really where I think Georgia I would probably give them an edge in this. Is I think that Georgia, if they can play the time of possession game, they can win this. I think that they can do it from that perspective. They can wear Alabama out. Not saying that the Crimson Tide aren't deep as well, but I just think that Georgia's running back situation can grind them down. Now, that's going to require the offensive line to step forward and play as I don't know that we've seen them play to this point in the year.
Well, I mean, from a pass protection standpoint, we haven't. But,
yes.
I thought Georgia ran the ball against Tennessee better than Georgia's ran the ball against Tennessee in a while, since probably that 2021 game. I like the way Georgia has figured it out on the ground through 3 games. Marshall, there were some short yardage things in there where Marshall was just trying to keep Georgia from running the ball between the tackles. Like they were sold out to keep Georgia from running between the tackles. Well, Georgia dialed up a couple of keepers, a couple of outside runs, hit a few explosives, and jumped all over Marshall. Against Austin Peay, as they should have, Georgia ran right at them, pretty much at will. If it wasn't for a couple of fumbles in that game, you're probably looking at a 42 to 6 type of win, and that one looks a lot better despite Gunner looking a little bit unsettled at home. And then Tennessee, it was a little of this, it was a little of that, and Georgia broke out some kind of new wrinkles in the run game and things of that nature. So, the run game is a big part of this one, and Alabama has really, really struggled to run the football against Power 5 competition this year. They couldn't run it against Florida State. They couldn't run it against Wisconsin. Didn't have any trouble with Wisconsin. So, but when you talk about the O-line, pass protection, getting the right side, figured out. And I think part of that is going to just come naturally from being at home. When you're on the road, it's hard to pass protect because you kind of put the defensive line at a little bit of an advantage there because you're both kind of working off the same, you're working off the same cue to get off the football, which is watching the football. Everybody has to do it. When you're at home, you can kind of time up some snap counts, and the O-line can kind of get a little bit of an edge there. So I'm interested to see kind of how that works out. But listen, we'll get into the injury situation here in just a little bit. Ernest Green. We can go ahead and get into it now. Ernest Green is out, and that's really the only major injury Georgia has out. Alabama's going to get a couple of good ones back in this one. Jam Miller, and looks like Tim Keenan's probably going to play. The effectiveness of those two guys having not played at all this year remains to be seen. But I'm interested to see kind of how those matchups play out, and again how home field helps lift Georgia in some of the ways that it has struggled, this season from a pass protection standpoint, from a pass rush standpoint. And I tell you, I look at this line, and it's moving kind of towards Alabama today. I kind of expected that a little bit with it just being a 3-point advantage. At some point, it's going to have to go one way or the other to kind of put that hook on it. It's kind of how Vegas ends up, where it's very rare does the line end up kind of on an even number. But right now, it's down to 2.5. And some people will say, well, hey, that means the sharp money's coming in on Bama. It is, but guess what? Sharps are right about 58% of the time too. So it's not like when sharps bet against a team that it's over. And I certainly think that there's some wait and see on Georgia. How there's not some wait and see on Alabama, I don't really understand. That each team has played kind of a top 15 team to this point in the season. Georgia's got a win on the road. Alabama's got a 14-point loss on the road. And a lot of these models, mathematical models that, listen, are cool to follow. They're taking some games into account that's really tough to kind of judge a team on.
I spoke to somebody I very, very much trust, a good source of mine last night. And I was asking them about the game, how they were feeling about it. And their takeaway was really neither one of us may be very good.
Or both of, or these may be the two best teams in the country. You just do not know. Yeah. And that's the thing, and that's going to be the thing after the game. I don't care if Georgia goes out there and beats Alabama by 25, or and I don't know why I said that number. That's an odd number to beat somebody.
It'd be amazing. Yeah, wow.
Yeah. If they go out there and beat Alabama by 20, or if Georgia goes out there and loses, I don't see Alabama blowing Georgia out in Athens. Georgia goes out there and wins or loses, margin doesn't matter. I still don't think we know these two football teams because ultimately, no matter who wins or loses this game, they're still in the national picture as far as making the playoff. They're still in the SEC championship game picture. And the winner of this game, if they don't get better as this season goes along, none of it matters anyway. Like nobody's going to win a national championship as good as they are right now.
I said this in my prediction, Jake, and I do believe. Listen, from a psychological standpoint, from a home win streak standpoint, from however you want to slice it up for Georgia, this game means a ton. This win means more to Alabama, in my opinion, in terms of keeping themselves in the hunt. Because we've talked about it all week. If Alabama drops this one, they're playing back against the wall for the rest of the season. If Georgia drops this one, they've probably still got some leeway as things move forward.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's kind of the way it goes, early in the season like this. But I still think both teams are very much alive, no matter what happens today. Yeah. But I will say this. Let's go ahead and tell you right off the top here in the first 12 minutes of the show. I like Georgia. I picked Georgia to win. I like the matchup for Georgia. And I think some national folks feel that way too. It's hard to pick games, hard to look at betting lines this early in the season and kind of figure it out because, these teams still have a lot to go on. I'm about to get my man Shane Heist from Sunheis Sunglasses here queued up. And you got it for just a second, Roos, while we make this transition.
All right, sounds great. Guys, look, as Jake Rowe mentioned, line seems to be moving on this one. 2.5. It looks like Georgia sitting as the favorite right now. Going to be interesting, though, to see how this one plays itself out. There is a very, like I said, there's a need for Georgia here, right? The psychological aspect of this, the ability to kind of get the Bama monkey off of your back, the chance to get in and keep this home win streak alive, which has been as impressive as anything we've seen in a long, long time. Our man Shane Heist in the house today, man. Love it.
Hey.
Got the got his hater blockers on today, rocking the Sunheis sunglasses out there, man. As always, what model are you wearing today, Shane?
This is the Sequoia, the Redwood.
The Redwood.
Yeah, I need to wake up here. Yep, one of our new styles with the HD polarized lens. So, yeah, man.
Outstanding.
Excited about a big college game day here. So
I should say so, man. I imagine the crowd is up and roaring at Redstone Market and Grill, and a chance to. It's early in the day, right? I know that, but I would assume the energy in the air is pretty palpable.
Big time, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
And we'll be after this. We're going to be heading on down to near the campus so we can get set up. We're going to be vending out there today and hoping to see a lot of folks out there.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that, Shane. Where are you going to be set up today? How can folks come by and meet up with you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll be at 680. The Fan is having a tailgate right at the parking lot where the Classic Center is. And, that goes from 4 to 7 4 to 7. And it is a ticketed event, but anyone can come as long as they're over 21. And you just have to fill out a waiver in order to come in. So we're excited about the opportunity to, get out there and show our school spirit and see if we can turn some people on to Sunheis at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. This is going to be, a huge, huge day in Athens overall, Shane. I got to ask, what are you feeling about this game, man? What's on your mind with this one?
Georgia all the way, man. Of course, I'm a Bama hater more than anyone probably. So, but I think it's going to be a great day for the Bulldogs, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you who don't know, you can get over to sunheis.com. If you're not able to get out to the Classic Center and hang out, get over to sunheis.com. You can use our code DawgsHQ20. And that'll give you 20% off of your purchase over at sunheis.com. I've been encouraging folks, man, to get loaded up for Christmas. I know it seems crazy that we're already talking about that, but October's knocking on the door, man.
Absolutely. It'll be here before we know it. No doubt.
No, Shane, tell us a little bit about what's up for Sunheis here in the coming months, man. You guys,
we've got a lot of exciting things we've been working on. We're not quite there yet, but we are in the process of doing some licensing through UGA, so we've got all that submitted and just waiting for the approval. We also just launched. We're now offering RX prescription glasses. We had so many people reaching out saying, "Hey, man, I can't wear regular shades. I need prescription." And so we've partnered with a great lab, and being able to offer that online. You just upload your prescription right there on the website, and boom, within 2 weeks, you'll have your prescription shades in the mail.
I love it, man. I love it. These, like I said, man, super lightweight. The injected polarization, we rock ours all the time, man. And the thing about it is, I tell people this, and this is probably the greatest compliment I could give Sunheis Shades, Shane, is that somehow Jake Rowe has not broken his. And so if they're able to withstand living with Jake Rowe, they are a fine product.
Absolutely. I find that I'm quite the tester of our material as well. I'm not the easiest on my shades. They are made to stand up for all your adventures out there. And y'all check us out. Lifetime warranty, of course, as always. And as always, we're just stoked to be a part of DawgsHQ with you guys. Y'all been a great supporter. We appreciate
you so much, Shane. Thanks for joining us today, brother. And we will look forward to seeing you at the Classic Center today, man. Encourage everybody to swing by and hang out.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Shane. Guys, look, sunheis.com. Like I said, you can get over there, use code DawgsHQ20 for 20% off of your purchase. And it's not just your first purchase, it's any purchase you make. So get over there, get your sunglasses, orders over $65, get free shipping and free returns in case they don't work out for you. But they will, if my experience is anything like yours. We've got some more guests coming down the pipe here, guys. Rusty Mansell's hanging out. Jeremy Johnson's there. Who knows? We might get a guest appearance from Palmer Toms. I'm hoping so anyway. But a big day here. Put your score predictions over in the comments. Let us know what you're feeling, man. We'd love to hear from you. How do you see this one playing out? Because there's a lot on the line, guys. As Jake Rowe mentioned, Ernest Green out for this game. So who ends up taking that right tackle spot, right? We'll talk with Rusty Mansell about that. I think the early leanings are it's going to be Bo Hewley over there, and he's going to have a chance to really get in and make an impression after what was an impressive showing against Tennessee there at the very end. Evan Grimes coming in 45-13 for the Dogs. Begging Megan putting it all on the table, 100-0 for the Georgia Bulldogs. It is very much it's going to be a very interesting way to watch this one play out. There's no question about it. Chris says, need Bo out there. I think you're going to get a heavy dose of Bo out there. We'll talk with Rusty Mansell about that, but I think that he has an opportunity perhaps to secure his position at this job. If you get out there and play well against a team like Alabama in the atmosphere that this is going to be, he's going to have a real chance, I think, to kind of make a big impression and really kind of get himself established. Run Mexico. Appreciate that username. 3113 out here. Chris says 41-31. He's expecting a barn burner, man. That's a lot of points for these two teams. It could be I haven't seen the over-under. I need to go check that out, but it'd be interested to know what that is, where that's sitting. We're watching. I wish you could see in the background here, Jake Rowe and Rusty Mansell staring wildly at the camera, trying to figure out what they got going on over here. JSB says, got to be able to run the ball and pressure Ty Simpson. If we don't make the quarterback uncomfortable, we won't win. Georgia, to this point, I know that it's not reflected in sack numbers, but I feel like they've done a good job of that. I think you saw with Tennessee, and Jake Rowe mentioned this, when Tennessee was trying to avoid Georgia, it was getting the ball out quick. That was really kind of what it had. 54.5 on the spread. Okay, or on the over-under there. Thank you very much, Ty. I appreciate that. But keeping things uncomfortable. Speaking of uncomfortable, they got now, Rusty, you are on mute, and I won't let you. I know you're on Jake Rowe's computer, so that's.
you not think that's not how this thing was going to start?
Jake Rose, computer, you're on mute.
I feel like
Rusty, welcome in, buddy. It's I know it's an exciting day out there at Redstone, man. Shane was saying that great crowd and the energy is palpable already in the Athens area.
it's funny as people are walking in this morning, you see them getting a biscuit and a Coke and a water, and we're approaching that 11 a.m. hour. And you're starting to see folks walk out with square packages. I would say. Square packages is what I see right now.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, they're getting ready to kind of get this thing going, man. Rusty, wanted to talk a little bit about this injury situation. Ernest Green officially out for this one. And this has a chance. What I was saying before you came on, I think this is a chance for Bo Hughley to get in here and really kind of establish himself as potentially the future at right tackle.
Oh, God. I mean, if you're playing at Georgia, when you get an opportunity, you got to seize it. Like, this is – I talked about this before. You saw Bo Hughley emotional after the Tennessee game. And I think he was emotional. His team won. But I think he was emotional because he came in and he gave 15 of the most important snaps of his career, young career at Georgia. They needed him right then, and he came through. Now, he's had 2 weeks to be the guy. This is a great audition. This is one of those moments where you got a 5-star behind you. You got a highly recruited guy in front of you. I mean, everybody's grown-ass men. You know what I mean? And you get a small window at Georgia. You get an opportunity like this for Bo Hughley on the biggest stage. When his team needs him tonight, this is a great opportunity for him. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And I think that emotion out of Tennessee was him like going, okay, I helped my team. I can do this. I can play here. This is my time. He's got a great opportunity tonight, man.
Absolutely. He reminded me, Rusty, very much, and I've used the comparison many times, at least from a body makeup standpoint. To me, he's built so similar to Broderick Jones. I think that he's put together in a very similar way. And
he's a leaner.
Yeah, he's a leaner guy. He's not one of these 350, 380 guys. He is, but he carries 300 very easily, 290 very easily.
Well, Bo got to Georgia, and I don't know if this has ever got out. Bo got to Georgia, and they finished up that state championship run.
Yep.
And then he got sick. Like, he had, like, the bad flu. Like, he had, like, a 2-week period. I think one of his initial first weigh-ins at Georgia, I think Bo Hughley was like 255.
Oh, wow.
And I think people thought he was 270. He got sick, man. Lost like 15 pounds, and he's up to 300 now. He carries 300, and he looks 270. So, he's got a wiry frame, kind of like Broderick, but yeah, you're talking about a kid that was 255, 2 years ago, the first day he stepped on campus, and now he's a 300-pounder going to play Alabama tonight.
Absolutely. And like you said, really crucial for him against Tennessee. Just came in and played some meaningful snaps. Also on that right side, Rusty, I think they're going to march Dontrell Glover out there at that right guard spot.
Yeah, Dontrell Glover's, look, man, I mean, he's another one that has seized his opportunity. Once he got in, like he's – a lot of people ask me about people behind him, and I'm like, look, guys, I don't know if you need to ask about people behind him. You need to talk about Dontrell Glover and what he's done as a true freshman, another tough-ass kid out of Langston Hughes.
I was going to say, insane to see a right side of Langston Hughes, man. They've done some work down there in Faribault.
Yeah, man, you look at what they did down there and those state championship teams they had and how talented they were and how physical those teams were when you go look. But Dontrell Glover, he didn't get here till late, man. He got to get here till June. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now he's starting against Alabama. So I think, I keep getting questions about people behind him. Quit asking about people behind them and say, hey, man, we got one. Like this guy's picking the job. He's won the job. There's no injuries there. Like this guy won the job. And right now he is the starting right guard. Now, doesn't mean that's locked in. It's a big night for him too, and this will be his first time in Sanford Stadium under these lights too against Alabama. So, a lot on him tonight, but so far, man, he's handled it.
And I mentioned this, Rusty, throughout the week. For a guy like that, I feel like I'm not going to say that the moment can be too big, but I do think there's a different kind of pressure that comes with playing at home in an environment like this, with a crowd like this, with the national eyes on it. For a young guy like Dontrell Glover, I think if he's able to kind of get through and push through that and really kind of play like he has been the last couple of weeks, the sky's the limit for him, man.
Yeah,
this is a big one.
you start checking boxes. You start talking about the O-line, the future, and you start thinking, okay, this kid's played at Tennessee. He's handled that noise. Then he's played a home game against Alabama. You know, he's going to have Kentucky. Then he's going to have Ole Miss. He's going to be at Auburn. I mean, it's just invaluable. And look, if it winds up being Bo Hughley and Juan Gadsden and Dontrell Glover basically on that right side for the rest of the year, if Ernest Green's out for a lengthy period of time and that winds up being the combination, man, you look at Georgia in the future there. You look at some young kids. You look at some young talented kids. I also look at, you know, 2 kids from Langston Hughes and 1 from Westlake. They're all in the same region, you know, in high school. So, you know what I mean? Like that says a lot for that region. So you're playing young kids, man. But this day and age, if you get one that can play this early like Dontrell Glover is, especially in a position like this, offensive line, and you need to have people to move people and come off the ball and all those nerdy words about coming through your hips and moving people against their will. So far, I've been really, really impressed by Dontrell Glover. I'm excited to see the tape tonight on him.
Well, I know that neither of us is surprised that a couple of Langston Hughes kids are playing tough as shit because they are really.
I went to a spring practice one time at Langston Hughes, and I left there with a concussion. Just watching, you know, like they do not play around. Dude, I don't even know
nothing sweet. There's nothing sweet about Langston Hughes. I'm telling you, like. People look at that Buford Stadium. They look at, you know, they think some of it. Listen, they're getting it out of the mud at Langston Hughes. I promise you that, man.
My goodness, they were getting after that day. I left there going, damn, I'm glad I'm timed out, man. I don't want no part of that.
Yeah. Rusty, let's talk a couple of key matchups in this one, man. I think that we talked about it all week looking at that secondary. That's going to be really crucial. Bama has some exceptional wide receivers. That cornerback 2 spot and also that second safety spot. Do you expect that they're going to roll with Kyron Jones to start this game out?
I would imagine so. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's been really good in run support. You know, I wonder if they're going to play Ja'Cory Thomas in passing downs tonight. What do they do there? They mix this thing up. But listen, everybody in Georgia, everybody from KJ Bolden to Dalen Everett, they're all going to get tested tonight. They're going to go vertical passing. Ty Simpson's going to push the ball down the field. They got 4 wide receivers that I think are really good. I know everybody talks about Bernard and Ryan Williams, but Isaiah Horton and those other guys are really good too. They're 4 deep there, and they're going to test Georgia, and I don't think that's any surprise for Georgia. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for this. They've had 2 weeks to get – and I heard Kirby, you know, talk about this morning with DJ Shockley. He said the way you combat that sometimes is you affect the quarterback. You attack the quarterback. You got to get him off his spot. We got to pressure the quarterback. And really hadn't heard Kirby go into that much detail in a game plan like that. So Kirby, to me, it says we're going to come after Ty Simpson. We want the crowd to affect him. And listen, Gunnar Stockton still has questions, okay? He still has questions about him. But he went to Tennessee. He did what he did. He checked that box. This is a big box for Ty Simpson. And I know all the Florida State fans got after my ass on Twitter, and I'm okay. I'm a big boy. I can handle it. But I'll say it again. Tallahassee at noon is not Sanford Stadium at 7:30 against Alabama. Right. This is a different setting he's going to walk into tonight, and I just think that I think it's a big test for him. We'll kind of know more about Ty Simpson tonight, but it was interesting to me to hear Kirby say, we got to affect the quarterback, we got to get after him, and we got to create negative plays. So I'm interested. That kind of tells me that Georgia's not going to sit back and try to play coverage. They're going to try to get to the root cause, and that would be the quarterback.
Yeah, and, you know, Rusty, I expect that Alabama will try to handle this thing in the way that Tennessee did, which is just get it out. We have to get this out because they you know, getting home is just not an option. Now the offensive line for the Tide will be playing, I think, at a pretty big disadvantage with the noise that they're going to have to deal with, especially if Georgia comes out and lands the first punch. But I think that I would expect Ty Simpson to be, let's just get this out as quick as possible.
Yeah, quick decisions, those types of things. And listen, we're all gonna find out tonight. You know, you look at game plans, you kind of know what's going on there, and you kind of know what to expect. I don't think there's going to be anything that Georgia's not expecting. I don't think Alabama's going to throw anything at Georgia that Georgia's not expecting. There might be some different blitz packages and those types of things, but I can tell you this right now, that Georgia is going to Georgia will try to run the football. They should try to run the football, because how do you kind of get this Alabama offense kind of off track and off momentum? It's long drives, be able to run the football and kind of wear them down with plays, the amount of plays that Alabama has to play on defense. And listen, Kirby Smart said it. I've said it. Jake Rose said it. You said it. It's not rocket science. If you could run the football and stop the run, and the SEC you're going to win a lot of football games. And Georgia's done that a lot of ways, and they're at home tonight.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that this is an opportunity for them to do that. I said that to Jake Rowe. I think that Georgia, the best strategy for Georgia is just to try to grind Alabama out and just keep this thing on the ground, play possession, hold it as long as you can, and just wear on them. And I'm not saying that Alabama doesn't have the depth to keep up with that, but I think that Georgia's in a much better situation than they were 1 year ago to sit there and play ball control.
Yeah, and I like the running backs too tonight. I'm interested in Josh McCray. You know what I mean? Like, this guy got tough yards. This guy got tough yards for Georgia. And I talked about it last night. We did a show last night in Athens, and everybody was asking me about him. I said, look, guys, I don't know that this guy might not have 10 carries for 33 yards, but they might be the 33 most important damn yards of the night. You know what I mean? He gets the 1 and 2 yarders. I go back to Kirby in an Austin Peay game, and him getting in Nate Frazier's for not scoring from the 1, and he basically said, I need you to effing strain. I saw the words just come out of that. I need you to effing strain. And you look at Josh McCray and what he did, especially in Tennessee. He got some tough yards, and then at the end, he ended the game on 2 tough runs. You know what I mean? Nate Frazier gets the ball down to the 3. Those are the 3 hardest yards you're going to have to get, and it's to beat Tennessee. And McCray got them all and strained. It was ironic that he strained for that last one. So I think Josh McCray's a guy that can bring some stuff tonight. Georgia's yards are going to be tough and hard to come by. But you get a 230, 240-pound guy laying on you there for a couple quarters, and maybe that's going to be a thing that a lot of people probably haven't talked about as much is what's this big back do. But I do like Georgia's running backs. I want to see Peanut tonight. I think Dwight Phillips is there. I'm interested in what they do with Zach Branch and those types of things.
It feels like Noah Thomas is a guy, too, that we've been waiting on for a while, Rusty.
I mean, it's time, dude. I mean, I've said it. I'm not sugarcoating it. You go out and get a guy. And listen, it's a world of college football. They went out and paid to get him. This was Texas A&M's leading wide receiver last year. This guy's 6'5.5", 6'6". You go out and get him because he's done things to SEC teams. And I just think tonight's a great opportunity for him to have a big piece of the puzzle. But you can't discount London Humphreys, man. London Humphreys already got 2 touchdowns this year. He's got 8 catches for 96 yards and 2 touchdowns. So here's a guy that's not really giving up a lot of his moments, but doesn't mean there's not things to share there. So interesting really how Georgia attacks them. But I know if Georgia could run the football, man, they're going to win this football game. And I'm not talking about the last 2 games of 75 yards and 80 yards. I'm talking about if Georgia goes for 150 or 160 tonight on the ground, they're going to win this football game.
A little announcement that just dropped, Rusty. Georgia announcing Luke Bryan and Jason Aldean will play Sanford Stadium next April in what should be quite a party, is what I would say to that.
Yeah, I would imagine there'll be some stuff going on there. But it doesn't surprise me. You see all these schools making these announcements, and listen, Jason Aldean and Luke Bryan are 2 big Georgia fans. Don't let that fool you. Now, I mean, I know some people that know Jason Aldean really closely, and they say you don't want to watch a game with him now. I mean, he keeps the door shut, and he is very into it. I know Luke Bryan's a huge Georgia fan. I know Luke Bryan and Kirby are very close, talk a lot. And Luke Bryan, he may or may not be a member of DawgsHQ. I don't know. That's the word on the street. But he keeps up with recruiting. I can promise you that. He follows it every day. He knows the guys, and already knows Jared Curtis up there in his neck of the woods in Nashville. Very familiar. Luke Bryan's son, Bo Bryan, he's a junior quarterback up there, and he's kind of getting a little bit of early looks. He's at a school where he plays with a senior too. I think it's at Battleground Academy up there, and so it'd be interested if Luke Bryan's son winds up becoming a prospect. But those 2 guys, doesn't surprise me at all that they're going to play a concert in Sanford Stadium.
Rusty, before we get you out of here, what's your prediction on this one?
I've been with 27-24 all week. As the game wears on, I'm not going to predict. I'm going to stay 27-24, but I'm starting to lean more like, is this going to be one of those games where everything just kind of goes right for Georgia? Is it going to be one of those 27-14 games? Is it going to be one of those 30-17 games where it's just one of those nights, man, where everything just kind of goes right for Georgia? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like there's still so many questions, but I said this a couple of weeks ago. Jake, if you're looking for Jake Rowe, he's in the middle. He is knee deep over there in the conversation. So I'm about to get him in a minute. But I'll say this, that I'm leaning a little bit more toward this might be one of those nights, man, where everything just kind of lines up for Georgia. You know, I still say this: nobody's going undefeated in the SEC, including Georgia. I think it's going to happen this year. But this is a huge game for Alabama, but it's a damn big game for Georgia. You know what I mean? Like, it's all these games are big, and
the streak is on the line. Yeah,
streaks on the line, and Kirby with Alabama, and all these things, and this is a freaking SEC home game at night. You don't get many of these, and I'm starting to inch a little bit more towards this might be one of those really good nights for Georgia, and we'll see. They got to do it. Got to do it, but I feel a little bit better as the week goes on with Georgia and some of the things I'm hearing.
Rusty, appreciate you as always. Try to
I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna go over there and bust Rowe up. He's in the middle of the barbershop right there.
Hey, just throw Palmer on, and we'll forget Rowe exists.
Out, man. What was good to see him this morning, and it was fun. He rolled up in here this morning. I want to tell everybody hello, and he's doing well. And unfortunately, his team last night they ran into Baylor out of Tennessee, and he didn't want to talk too much about high school football this morning. But
I could understand. That.
Appreciate it, man. Look forward to it. We got a lot of coverage today, and we'll be back tonight.
Rusty, appreciate you, brother. Rusty Mansell joining us there from DawgsHQ, the lead man, the publisher over at DawgsHQ, and really appreciate his insight. Guys, like he said, this is so huge for Georgia. So much on the line. Right? You've got not only the mental aspect of everything, you've got the streak on the line. You've got a talented group of recruits coming into town. And we'll talk about that actually with our next man on the spot here. Jeremy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How you doing?
Jeremy Johnson joining the show. Shout out Jeremy. Jeremy, I was just touching on the fact there's so much on the line for this game, including not only the streak, not only the mental aspect of beating Alabama, but also a star-studded list of recruits in town. And before we get into that, I think you had a chance to get out last night and see a future dog in action. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Man, Kamari Brooks he's a grown man. He's a grown man. He's gotten bigger since the last time I saw him. I hadn't seen him since I saw him at his commitment ceremony, but he didn't have on pads and all that. But seeing him in pads last night put into perspective of just how this guy has developed physically over the last, 6 months or so. He plays basketball, so in the winter he goes and runs around, and he's lucky he gets to run off his weight that he accumulates during the off season. So he does that, and I don't know. He looked different last night. He plays so. I think I tweeted it. He plays just with a heavy hand. Everything he does, he just kind of. It's not really fast. It's not really twitchy. It's not like the guy that you get off the bus and you're like, he looks fast. He looks like he's gonna go a rusty passer. But I mean, you watch his film. There's a play, I think I posted that one as well, where he is setting the edge and he bites inside first, but he's able to have the wherewithal to be able to get his hands over, position himself on the outside, and makes that play. So just little things like that makes me like, okay, well, this guy can make an early impact at Georgia, and it's clear kind of why they, honed in on him as a guy they want, because it's not necessarily, hey, he's going to come in and put up 25 sacks. It's hey, I can put this guy on the football field, and he's going to know what he's doing. He's going to play special teams. He's going to play physical. He's going to play nasty. Those are the things that, Chance Chandler's brought to Georgia that people didn't talk about a lot, but it was like those are reps that were really necessary. And I think that's what Kamari Brooks is.
Yeah, no, huge for sure to get a guy like that in. And, we've talked about it, Jeremy. Georgia had this is a pretty solid edge class just in general in the 2026 cycle. They honed in on him and said, look, you are our guy. We need one guy for this class, and you're it. Obviously, they've got some big names they're looking for in 2027, but this is a guy that they kind of went all out for. Speaking of all out, this is a huge visit list this weekend. Talk to me about a couple of the names that you'll be watching in this one and just who's taking this game in.
Yeah, I wrote a most important visitor. Obviously, the name that immediately pops up for me is Jared Doty. Obviously, he's an offensive tackle. Those guys don't grow on trees. You have to have those guys, and that guy's 6'6", 6'5", right at 290 pounds. So that's a guy you want to try to grab. I mean, and the 2027 class is kind of in a weird spot right now where, they're trying to play their junior years, but they're also taking business, but they're also not serious enough about recruitment yet. So DJ Jacobs getting back on campus is also a big deal. 5-star edge out of Bliss Trinity, legacy guy that you want to try to, if you're George, try to make sure you hone in on him. Kirby saw him last week in person. So did Chadero was with the Green Bay. They were both in these games 2 weeks ago. So there's a big priority in him. And the name that was on Rusty's list that really kind of surprised me was Isaiah Crowell. Not Isaiah Crowell. Oh no, Xavier Crowell.
They found another year of eligibility for SoCro, man.
They found an extra year, and he's going to forego all his money from the Jets, and he's going to come and play for at some point again. But no, Xavier Crowell popping up on the list. He's obviously an Alabama commit. I really think he considered Georgia more than I think people kind of thought he did. Obviously, being in the state of Alabama, every time I spoke to him, he really liked Georgia. So him popping up today, obviously, he probably wants to just watch his team, but having him on campus is something that's like, all right, maybe there's still some communication going on there. I think that's interesting. I wouldn't say, hey, that's going to happen. Hey, that's something to watch. I'd say that's interesting. So that's one I'm interested to see what he says after the fact.
We've got Jake Rowe just doing a walkabout here in Redstone Market. That place is cavernous, man. It's gigantic in there.
And it makes me hungry every time I step in. I stay out here.
Jeremy, what in your mind? How do you see this game playing out, man? I've asked Jake, I've asked Rusty. I'm curious, what's kind of your feel on this one? I feel like if I'm thinking correctly, your prediction was pretty heavily Georgia skewed.
Yeah, and I kind of thought about it throughout the week. When I came in, I probably would have said Georgia wins by a touchdown or a field goal. I don't know, man. It just feels like every time we get to these situations and we see Georgia have these big moments at home and it's a night game, it just feels like this is the one where it's like, if this team is going to compete for a national championship, which I think they will, I think this is a team that can win a national championship, they make their statements. And this feels like that Tennessee game when Tennessee came in here number 1 and Georgia kind of just stymied them. I think this is that game for this version of Georgia, and it just happens to be Alabama. They're playing really well right now. Alabama has had some struggles early in the year. I don't think the Florida State game matters as much as – I don't think it matters today at all. I think you can take that game and bottle it up, which is what I said on the board, and I kind of had to walk it back a little bit because I kind of see what people were saying, but take that one and bottle it up, and you throw that one over there and don't think about it because you're going to get Alabama's best. Ty Simpson's playing at a really high level, but I think Georgia, if they stop Alabama's run game, make Alabama have to throw the football, I think you can get Ty Simpson to give you the football maybe once or twice. And when you do that, you play with a short field and you can run up the score, make some big plays. And I think Georgia will make their fair share of big plays, especially if the weather holds up later in the day.
Yeah, what's the weather like right now, Jeremy? I mean, did you guys get some rain? Somebody was asking, was the field dry?
Yeah, I mean, it rained a little bit. It's just been a little drizzle. It's nice right now. It's kind of cloudy, but it's nice. It's in the 80s, mid 70s. Okay. It's beautiful right now. I'm sure we'll get a couple raindrops a little later, but I don't anticipate weather being a big deal today.
Yeah, no doubt. No, it's going to be a huge night in Athens, Jeremy. You mentioned some of those big plays they're going to have to make, some of the things that Georgia's going to have to do to be successful. Looking at these matchups, and again, Rusty and I were talking about this. What's kind of the key matchup in your mind in this one? Is there one that you have circled and say, like, this guy has to hold the line, or this guy's got to make a big play?
I think Zachariah Branch has to have a big night. I mean, Arian Smith had a big game in Tuscaloosa last year, and I kind of view them the same way in how they're using Georgia's offense. They're the guys that, you get the football in their hands and they can go make a play with their speed. So I think if Zachariah Branch has over 60 yards today or over 70 yards, I think Georgia wins. I think if he has a big touchdown play, Georgia wins. And, thinking from a matchup standpoint, if Bo Hughley plays right tackle today, he's going to bring his lunch bell because it's one of those days where nice people don't play well in this game. So I know Bo. I've covered Bo on the recruiting side. I know Bo is a nasty physical football player. So this is one of those days where he kind of make sure that he's his presence is felt in Georgia's offensive line room because he's going to have to be. This is one of those games where there's not a nice person on the other side of the offensive line, on the defensive front. So it's definitely a day to be physical. They're going to have to pass protect. Obviously, give Gunner some time to make some plays. But I think that matchup will be determining of how good Georgia's offense will be tonight.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, I think Rusty and I were discussing, man, crazy to see Langston Hughes holding down the right side of the line, man. They are tough out there. Those cats know how to get after it.
Yeah,
but
different down there.
Yeah. I said, look, ain't nothing sweet about Fairburn, Georgia, man. They are, as the kids say, they get it out of the mud at Fairburn.
They do.
But this is also, I think, a huge opportunity for Bo, not only just to get out there and help his team, but potentially, I think, Jeremy, to set himself up to be that guy moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's waited around. You rarely hear these kind of stories nowadays. It's guys when they don't play and they're highly ranked and highly recruited, they get out of there. I mean, or they just kind of fall behind a younger guy. So the fact that he's kind of stuck around and developed, I mean, he's put on weight. He's had to learn how to play the tackle position at the college level. He was a guy that was, he's just one of those really athletic guys that was just able to play off pure athleticism and physicality at the high school level. So he's had to learn how to play tackle, and he's done that. I mean, he's done that, and I think he kind of took a step back early in the year where he played a little bit and then was kind of pushed down and charted a little bit. I mean, that's what happens at Georgia. If you don't have a good week of practice, there's 4 of the 4 stars that can play. So him stepping in Tennessee and being able to, kind of make his presence felt in that game and then have an opportunity today to try to, I don't know if he'll start. He'll probably be one of the guys that plays a lot, though. So have an opportunity today and go and put some good stuff on tape today will be huge for him. Just like you said, to be able to grab hold of that position and, kind of build some confidence and try to be that guy moving forward.
Yeah. I think everybody wishing Ernest Green well and hoping he comes back. But like I said, man, when opportunity knocks, you got to take it. And for Bo, that's a huge one today. An opportunity for Georgia to kind of reset the narrative as well and kind of get this Alabama thing off their back. I said earlier in the show, I don't know that this game doesn't mean more to Alabama, primarily for the reason of just solely staying in contention. I think that I think that Alabama would be in contention even if they lost this one. They're just playing with their back against the wall the rest of the way. Whereas Georgia sitting in a more comfortable position as those things stand. So really interested to see how this one goes. And Jeremy, I know that we'll have a ton of recruiting updates for folks to get over and check out on DawgsHQ, win or lose. We'll be hitting those guys up. Hopefully, we'll be talking to them about a good night in Sanford Stadium. It's always a little easier to get those quotes.
Yeah. Well, when you have a good time, you're ready to tell somebody how great of a time you had. So definitely, we'll see how that goes. I think this. I don't know. This weekend so far has been. You can just already feel the energy. I mean, I live in Athens. I've grown up in Athens. I don't know that I've seen downtown look like it did last night in a while. Maybe since like Notre Dame. So if that tells you anything about the atmosphere we're about to see, that's why the weather's kind of. I mean, it's like the universe is like, hey, let's make sure that these people have a good time. So that's kind of what's happening. And we'll see what happens here in a couple hours.
I love when the universe conspires to have a good time.
It seems to always happen that way. Remember Tennessee a couple years ago? They were like,
sure.
rain, and then as soon as kickoff happened, the skies just parted.
Absolutely, man.
That's what's happening right now. There's some sun over here to my right. So,
Jeremy, we appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much, and look forward to all the coverage, man. Thanks.
Good to see you.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Yep. Jeremy Johnson joining us, does a great job with our recruiting over at DawgsHQ. And like we said, big weekend for that. Huge to have this kind of visitor list in town, the opportunity to impress them and the chance to show them how they fit with what Georgia wants to do moving forward. They have a big opportunity ahead of them on the field, but as well as on the recruiting trail. No doubt about it. Jake Rowe back after that little walkabout. I was worried you'd get lost in there, Jake. It's cavernous in the Redstone Market.
Dude, I found out while I was in there, A9 Wagyu out of Australia, and coming soon, or maybe I've been already in there, Japanese Japanese wagon.
Oh.
Was it A5? Yeah. So, I mean, some high quality beef can be found over here at Redstone. And listen, this place is right off of Highway 129. It's in Athens. Just absolutely focused on Georgia businesses, Georgia vendors, all of that stuff. I mean, they are locked in as far as that goes. And I mean, I don't know if you saw that memorabilia table that I put on the thing. I mean, that's unbelievable. That Brock Bowers picture is awesome. Everybody knows I'm Brock Bowers homer. It's incredible. And man, this place. Funny thing is, Jake, it just keeps getting better. Like it just they keep doing little tweaks and changes out here, and it just keeps getting better and better. We've had a busy morning out here already. This is, listen, at DawgsHQ, we know something about HQs. Okay, we know something about headquarters. This is your tailgate headquarters. This is where you need to go if you're coming in from the Atlanta area. Skip 316. Skip all the red lights and everything on 316. Swing all the way down. Listen, Arcade is no longer a speed trap. All right, they slapped everybody in the wrist over there. Don't be scared of Arcade anymore. Come on down 129. Go all the way up to exit 137 on High 85. Hop off the exit, hang a right, and in 10 minutes you're right here. And then 15 minutes from here, you can be at your tailgate spot depending on traffic. I mean, that's how nice it is. And you can get your pre-made, pre-cooked tailgate packages, kind of something you can just take out there and be ready for. Or you can pick up your own food and kind of go out there and cook it. I mean, they've got fresh sausage, all that stuff, and smoked sausage. I mean, it's really incredible. Where are we at on talking about this game, though? How deeply did you get into it with Rusty?
Well, we got into it with Rusty. We got into it with Jeremy. We talked matchups. We talked an opportunity for Bo Hughley and what this could be. I am curious as to your feeling on that. Do you think that he has a chance, Jake, if he plays well, to cement himself into this right tackle role today?
Yeah, as a starter, as like a full-time starter, I mean, that remains to be seen. But I think he can certainly, carve out a role for himself for the rest of the football season. And that's kind of what you're looking for there. Because you look at Bo Hughley, right? Summer enrollee at 270-something pounds. Okay, so, clearly he was going to need some time. So he goes through that first year at Georgia. He gets up to around 300 pounds, suffers a torn labrum, has to have surgery, loses about another 20 pounds. So he has to kind of start over and get that going. Goes through last year, kind of holds his own, gets better. It's clear that he is a much better pass protector at this point than a run blocker. So, that's something that he's got to get better at and continue to develop. But I tell you, I've been critical of the Georgia coaching staff when it comes to, getting issues figured out along the offensive line. I thought that, I'll say it over and over again. I feel like in a lot of ways they failed to get better and to fix their issues. I'm not giving any coach a pass. The buck stops with the coaches. But with that said, there's something to be there's something to Bo Hughley coming in and playing 15 amazing snaps for Georgia in the fourth quarter on the road at Tennessee. Now the fresh legs probably helped out, but ultimately, man, that was a real show of guts, a real show of heart, a real show of effort on his part. He's done nothing but help himself this week. I think Juan Gaston will be in the mix this week as far as playing tackle against Alabama. Maybe situationally. Maybe when Georgia kind of wants to ramp things up on the run game. But something Rusty brought up last night, I don't know if he brought it up when he talked to you guys. Just a few short years ago, Dontrell Glover and Bo Hughley were playing side by side on Langston Hughes' offensive line.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
And then now you're sitting there full circle. It's a pretty cool little story there. But a couple of Georgia's got a lot of talent up front, and I think everybody understood coming into this year, as much as you lost last year, as much as you were injured last year, the depth was probably the biggest issue. You had a lot of snaps in that front five, especially with 4 of those 5 guys you were going to start. But listen, I expect a big step forward from Georgia's offensive line today, coming back home 2 weeks to kind of correct their mistakes. And from everything we've heard, those guys have had a really phenomenal attitude, kind of about it. My biggest concern for this game, and I've stated it over and over again, small sample size. Can Gunner be that fearless Gunner we've seen away from Athens in this game? Can he kind of be that cut it loose, trust himself, make things happen? That's what we're really looking for.
Yeah, that would go a long, long way. And you and I talked about it earlier in the week. There's a different kind of pressure that comes from playing at home. I really do believe that. I think that you have the advantage of the crowd being on your side and the snap counts, like we talked about that. But you want to do well in front of your people, and that's just a natural human condition. So I think that it'll be interesting to see how they respond to that, because this is the first big home atmosphere that Georgia's had all year. And it really doesn't get much bigger than this. Jake, we one of the things I did want to ask you about, because I asked Rusty about it, is that second safety position. Do you expect that Kyron Jones is going to be the guy that they roll with out there to start the game?
I don't know why not.
Yeah.
It's tough to know. I mean, clearly that's something they've done a good job of keeping under wraps, because I don't think any of us had Kyron Jones starting the opener. So they're when you talk about the information we're grabbing from practice, we're certainly not batting 1,000 when it comes to who's going to play that safety position. But thus far, it's been a lot of Kyron Jones and quite a bit of Ja'Cory Thomas. Those are the most experienced guys. They busted some coverages against Tennessee, but I suspect they're probably still the most trusted guys when it comes to that. But listen, would it shock me if Adrian Maddox made a little bit of a move and we haven't heard about it? Not at all. Not at all. And I think from an athleticism standpoint, he's a better matchup. He's more of a matchup guy for you. If you've got to kind of have a safety matchup against a guy in the slot or something one-on-one in a zero coverage or man free, that's kind of the guy that probably matches up the best for you. And would it shock me if he played? Not at all. Not even a little bit. So I do know that Georgia's really, really happy from everything I've heard with the safety additions they made this offseason with Zion Branch, with Adrian Maddox. They believe in those guys. Still trying to remind folks, as much as it feels like this college football season is over halfway over, we're a quarter of the way done at this point. And after today, we'll be a third of the way done with the regular season. There is a long, long way to go. If you Noah Thomas, those safeties, D linemen, Elo Madozi, I don't care who you're talking about. There's just a lot of season left to play out. And it starts, here in a few hours, kind of seeing the next rendition of what this Georgia team is going to look like, and if this one can continue to get better as the season goes on. And I expect it to, man. I really do. I expect it to. I tell you one thing before we get out of here, Jake. The way Kirby has talked about this team, I think, has been one of the least talked about things that is out there, and that's talking about how fun it is to coach this group, talking about kind of the comments that the TV, the announcers have made about, Kirby kind of having a little bit of a vibe from this team. I think that means something. And I expect Georgia to go out and play well today. I think if it takes care of the football and plays really well, I don't think there's a whole lot Alabama can do about it.
No doubt. No doubt. We will find out in short order. It will not be long until things get fired up. Guys, look, mix in a water today. That's my big advice. Take it easy, because it's one
alcoholic drink, one water.
This is a marathon. This is a marathon today.
You're going to have to pee a lot. You're going to flush the toilet a lot. I get it, but it's worth it. You'll feel better tomorrow.
Guys, we want to shout out our friends at Sunheis, our friends at Redstone for hosting us. I know you guys having a tremendous time out there. Hate we didn't get Palmer on with us, but that's okay.
He got out of here too fast.
I know. Yeah, Palmer. The keg stands were calling at the Sigma Chi house or whatever the hell he is. So he's got to go back and spank 18-year-olds. But he
I'll tell you what he is. He's a nerd. It's full-blown geek.
Guys, big one on tap. We've got you covered wire to wire over at DawgsHQ. Make sure to get over, check out everything. Come be a part of our game thread. If you've never experienced a game thread at DawgsHQ, it is a sight to behold.
And while you're at it, if you can find a wild raccoon with its mouth foaming, catch it while you're at it. Just if we're giving out bad advice here, let's go ahead and do it.
No, listen, if you want to feel better about yourself and your sanity, come over and be a part of the game thread. We have a great time over there. It is guaranteed to deliver, as always. But like I said, huge one. Tons of coverage still to come. Jake Rowe and Rusty Mansell be with you post game tonight as well. So big night for Georgia football. We'll have you covered on it, all things today and tomorrow and moving forward into the week, guys. So can't wait. Looking forward to it. And we will catch you again very, very soon tomorrow night on the DawgsHQ YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys tuning in today.